always so encouraging just having some of the comments available to us up here in the wrap room. And just before I get some thoughts of Amber and Cath this morning, I wanted to encourage you. If this message has spoken to you this morning, we'd love it if you could just pop some comments in the boxes, whichever platform you're on this morning. We've got some thoughts that's spoken to me. And just reading some of the comments coming through, how the message has spoken to so many people, I believe that God's done something incredible in every single one of our hearts today. So please share them with us. These stories are amazing. Also, we'd love to partner with you. If you would like any prayer for anything, we've got a coaching and care card on our website. You can jump onto linkchurch.com, just click on that card, and you can let us know exactly what you need prayer for. We'd love to partner with you in prayer this morning. And we've got a prayer team on campus standing by right now, praying for us right throughout the service, praying for our church. So let us know what those look like. If you're on the Linc.tv site as well, there's a little prayer box on there. So jump on there. We'd love to pray with you and partner with you this morning. Also, if you give financially into the story of Linc, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for every single person that so generously into our church and our story every single week or every single month. And if you normally give financially on campus, there's many ways you can do so online. Also, linkchurch.com, there's Zapper codes that will pop up. So EFT, so many different ways you can give into the story this morning. So thanks so much for every single generous heart out there that's so generously into our story. Amber and Cath, good to have you with me on the wrap this morning.
Good to be here.
Oh, nice to see you guys, man. I actually asked them both to pray for me because these two ladies take the best notes and often use vocabulary that is not quite in my range.
Rubbish, Dusty. You went to where? St. John's?
Yeah, I was St. John's boy, yeah.
School must have had your thesaurus out there.
School, I don't have a thesaurus. Amber brought her thesaurus to the wrap this morning.
Extended, amplified.
That Bible came with a free backpack. All right, so let's get some...
Free chiropractor, actually.
Awesome. What a message. Stones, sticks, and steering wheels.
I think I say this every week, and I'm going to keep saying it, but we sit under the most incredible teaching.
Yes, we do.
It's not normal.
It is not normal. Bill and I actually touched on this morning. This series has been fantastic. I know Mark Stone popped in the middle somewhere, but I feel like Slevin and Tess have dovetailed quite nicely through the series.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Some different approaches, different thoughts, but the same thread.
Yeah.
So it's actually been an incredible series. Get your laugh back. I feel like I'm getting my laugh back.
I'm so glad.
Slowly.
And Bridge said amen.
And Bridge said amen because I think I've been tough to live with for 18 months. Anyway. But
all of us have. Under the rock, not next to the rock.
Yeah, hiding under the rock there. The grace of Bridge and the grace of God. Awesome. Any God, before we jump into anything that's any God moments in the service, anything that I love those moments where you just feel like God's hand is on a certain part of this. Sometimes there isn't, but anything that you feel like God was just in it?
Catherine?
Me?
Yeah.
I think where Mark spoke about, we always share our most intimate thoughts and the things we're passionate about with someone who we love deeply, and that's the same with God. Like, although He has grace for us and He does love us, He shares that with those who actually love Him and their hearts are turned toward Him and have got that space for Him. So for me, it really challenged me about, like you said right in the beginning, making room for God in your heart. Yeah. And you always think you have, but actually how much... Yeah, I don't know. That for me stood out.
I was so blown away by the number of scriptures that actually speak of if you love God.
Yeah.
Like he listed 5 or 6 of them and going, hey, God is for His people, there who love Him. And there was a bunch of them.
Yeah, and it's not a judgmental thing. It's just a question to ask yourself, because those you love, you want to be with, you talk to regularly, your heart yearns to be in their presence.
Absolutely.
So
remember those first moments when you fall in love.
Yeah.
You just can't wait for the phone to ring, or you're waiting for that text, or you're just so positioned to speak or to be in the presence of that person.
Yeah. And I think that Christianity can be a moral code for many.
Yep.
But I think what Jesus intended was a love affair.
Yeah, that's very good.
I love, for me, a real God moment. It was, it almost felt like the room just got so still. When Slev spoke about returning to the high place, and how returning to the house is returning to the high place.
Yeah.
And I think we even approach sermons and moments, and I think our flesh loves the practical 3 Ps we take into our week, because we can tick them off. But I think there's there's almost like the invitation is to return to the high place, to return to the table. Like in Revelation, when Jesus says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock," he's actually talking to his church. We use that as an altar call, but he's talking to his church. He's talking to his first love, and he's calling them to return to a table, not to a work. Like he says to the church in Revelation, you've done many, he lists good works you've done, you've stayed faithful, but you've lost your first love. And I think that's the invitation for us, is just to receive the love. Like we love in response to God.
So good.
Yeah.
But I love that too, Ams, because that high place is actually more for us than it is for God.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that's the place where you actually remind yourself of what he has done. It's where you get fed, it's where you get filled. And yeah.
And it's all a response. Like I think we sing songs like, "I love you, Lord," and "I surrender." And there's almost like a bit of nobility, and "yes, I do." And I lay my, like, "pour me out, God, use me," you know.
And walk out of there.
I think God
Not so
delights in
much.
that. I really do. Like in the Bible, it says he delights in that. But I think he's also saying, like, look how I poured myself out.
Yeah.
I love your surrender, but look at mine. Like that's where you
Yeah.
fueled for yours.
Do you think Larry
Awesome.
Walters was looking for a high place?
He must have found it. I'm
is
sorry, that's
amazing. That's real
hysterical.
life- real
What
life
not
up.
to do.
But what a
Helium
story.
balloons.
Maybe to
Yeah.
find the high place that God is calling us to is maybe just a shift of perspective. And all Larry
Yeah.
Walters is looking for is a shift of perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to
Come on.
change our perspective of the way God sees us. Also loved who we are. Just who are you? God loves
Yeah.
who you are. And
Yeah.
asking arrive as children. It was so good
Yeah.
because we grow into adulthood, but we arrive at the feet of God as children.
Yeah.
I loved his analogy. How much
So beautiful.
future life do you have in the cupboard, Cath?
Lots.
You never
I had
asked.
those specials. Eh?
And it's so
Same.
true. We always going back to God with we never go to Him with the questions that our children ask us. Why don't we
No.
go to them with just with the confidence of who God is as a father, help us move forward?
And I think we, as humanity, we're forgetful beings.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like
we
C.S.
are.
Lewis says, we need to be reminded more than told.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, there's just so much in that thought of remembrance.
Yeah.
And just coming back to remember, like there's a psalm that says, "Return to your rest, my soul, for the Lord has been good to you."
So good.
Yeah.
Like in Judges 4, when they cross the Jordan, they actually take 12 stones from the Jordan and they build a tower. And Joshua says, this is when the generations ask why they're here, you'll tell them how God delivered you.
That's brilliant.
And I think, like, what are our altars that we build in our lives that we can tell people, I once was dead and now I'm alive. I
That is a
once
great
was
question. What
broken.
altars are you building in your life? What landmark moments are you actually making notes of, writing down,
Remembering.
building some sort of statue, if you want to call it that?
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
Not a statue.
Of Jesus.
Okay.
No, like a landmark moment.
I know.
And like even in the Old Testament, like they would build altars to sacrifice
Altars.
to God, but they would also
That's the
build
word.
altars to memorialize where they encountered God.
Correct.
And it would be a place they would return to and say, remember how God met us there.
Brilliant.
And I think, there's a guy, Blaise Pascal, who was like this crazy scientist, very academic, like making waves in the world many, many, many years ago. And he encountered God just radically. Like he was a complete atheist, man of math and science. And he wrote out what's called a wager. He wrote out a night of fire. He said, I have not met the God of science or reason. I have met the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And night of fire. And he wrote that. And when he actually died, they found it actually sewn into his jacket.
Sure.
And he almost, I think he wore his encounter.
Wow.
And I think there's something so powerful about a Christianity that's a fiery Christianity, a real fiery, passionate love affair, and us wearing that.
Wear your encounter.
Yeah.
That'll preach.
That's very good.
And what are you positioning your life to take you back to those moments of encounter with God and remembering what He's done for you? Because I love what Mark said there. He says that life is this incredible way of eroding our love for God.
Sure.
And those moments that we actually place these altars, these life-altering moments, write them down, or have we go back to them?
Well, you know what Mark did
points to
actually in
remember.
lockdown, which was brilliant, was because we all have our phones with us.
Yes.
Is he took a photo, and every day he would do something where he put that photo into his notes and he wrote something. And I remember it was
Wow.
actually incredible because we're always looking at our photos, or sometimes, and you know, you have a laugh, you
Yep.
see old videos of your kids, takes you straight back to that moment. And I think sometimes just snap a shot of where you are, and just remind yourself, because
So
you can go
good.
back in your
Brilliant,
phones,
yeah.
in your photos.
Yeah. I also love Mark always reminds me, he's like, what have you learnt?
Mm.
He asked the same question today. It's like, what have you, are we asking ourselves,
Yeah.
How do I put it in place?
How do we put those things in
Yeah,
place?
not
and
what
do
does
we
it
do?
mean?
Yeah.
How am I going to do this?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
right through lockdown as well, it's like, hey, you learn so much. What are you applying?
Yeah.
So how do we put those things in place? What have you learnt? Alrighty, what are you taking into Monday?
See, I've got about 10 pages of notes here. Quite a bit.
There's lots of notes, all the notes.
I think for me, it's that your passions are often God-given, and God loves that. Maybe not just the thing you're doing, it's actually He loves seeing you fully alive.
Brilliant.
So next time obviously for us, we love our horses, love that moment of being outside, but everyone's got something that God's given them, a God-given passion. It's
So
inherently
good.
what He gave them, and He loves it when He sees you fully alive pursuing that. And then just to remember that that's Him who gave it, and it was for your joy, not, I love that.
That's so
It's
good.
like that
Do what you
Chariots
love.
of Fire. Like I feel this pleasure when I run. It's almost like you
Or
can
crawl,
feel-
basically. You think
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
running chariots.
Or when you run next to Cath Slevin.
No.
That's when you crawl. Personal experience. That is my altar of remembrance. God delivered me on Table Mountain.
There we go.
From the
You actually did better than you think you did.
You did well, Ams. You even had the wind
You
against you.
smashed it.
Yeah, I did.
Wasn't the easiest
But
time.
taking into Monday, what I'm going to take into Monday is to delight in the love of God.
Yeah.
So good.
And not so much in that I take all the practices and do all the things, but to actually just remember again. And just to remind myself every day that I'm deeply loved by Jesus and I've done nothing to earn it or deserve
Brilliant.
it.
True.
Like Paul speaks of Jesus in the Bible as the one who loved me and gave himself for me, not as the one who I love and give myself for. Like his core identity was being so deeply loved by Jesus.
So
very
good.
And I love, like when you read the Book of Kings, the history books compared to the Book of Kings that give such different lengths to the kings and the rulers of the day. And the primary context and relativity of kings was how they protected the purity of worship. It wasn't about their maybe political battles or how great they were in the warfield. Warfield, is that a thing?
Battlefield.
Battlefield.
We'll call it the warfield
It's
for
a
today.
battlefield. It's a warfield. But it was how they protected the purity of their people's worship. And I think the greatest prophets, artists, creators of our days, and leaders aren't going to be the ones that speak to vaccinations and politics and all the crazy things, but they're going to be the one calling the church to be the church again.
So
Yeah.
good.
Calling
Just
people
worship
to the
Jesus.
first love. It's the prophecies, it's the art, it's the creation, it's the leadership that calls people to the feet of Jesus.
So
Awesome.
good.
And man, when you're delighting in that, it's like wearing your encounter. It calls people there. It's magnetic.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah.
The magnetic call of God back to the church.
Yeah.
Some profound stuff there, Ams. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
just
I
going
talk so much.
No, it's so good.
We
It is
just
so
unpacking
good.
it. It's
I
very
just,
good.
my notes are pretty much like I pray like Jesus said, Lazarus come out. You know, like one of those moments. So
Well, I
mine's,
think-
you know what I'm taking to man? I'm going to
Thank
let go.
God.
I'm going to let go and let God. Eh?
Yeah.
That's my,
No.
just that whole idea of remembering who's in control. I think sometimes we try to take back the wheel. I love the driving analogy. Of
Yeah,
John
did you
Maynard.
see the steering wheel?
I did.
It's huge. I wondered why that was outside our gate yesterday.
Jamo
What
actually,
tractor's missing its steering
Jamo
wheel?
pulled that steering wheel off the vehicle on the way while he went for his driving lesson. He just ripped the whole steering wheel
Went
out.
to get
and
future
just put it- so, that's amazing. So I'm going to let go and let God. Just remember who's in control. So
Yeah.
it's going to be Hey, thank you guys. It's been an
thank
amazing
you.
morning, just catching up and chatting and getting some thoughts. And I'm sure you've enjoyed it too. So God delights in what you delight in. He loves what you love, and let's give the glory to Him.
Yeah.
Amber is just remembering that she is loved by God and does nothing, absolutely nothing that she's done to receive God's love. And I'm just going to let go and let God as we go into Monday this week. And I don't know what God said to you this morning. I don't know what He's spoken to you this morning, but and I don't know what you're taking into Monday. But let's write something down today that you're taking into this week to make this message not just land on a Sunday, but take it into the week with us. We'd love to connect with you. If you haven't done so already, please scan
Do that thing.
the little QR code that's on the screen at the bottom there. It'll take us straight to the website. Drop some details on there. We'd love to get in contact with you and to help you move forward in faith. Have an amazing week ahead, and we're super excited to be back next week. Enjoy and ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.